Greetings, vinyl community, and welcome to VC Friday, where once again I get to speak about some VCLT, thanks to the generosity of Isa Halim, who sent me some really cool stuff. Starting with this LP by the great South African trumpeter Hugh Masekela, noted for his version of Grazing in the Grass, and getting name-checked on Eric Burden and the Animals' Monterey single. This is Colonial Man from 1976. I don't know if that release date has anything to do with the bicentennial celebrations in the USA, but this is kind of a political semi-concept album about colonialism, and semi because not all the songs have to do with the theme, but the ones that do have a degree of anger that I think really comes through and makes them the best things on the album. Some things on here, about half of the album I thought was pretty good in that vein. Half of it, not quite my thing. In particularly, there's a lengthy cover of the Isley Brothers' For the Love of You, which doesn't really belong on an album about colonialism. He does mention Cortez, he mentions Vasco da Gama in a couple of songs, and he mentions Christopher Columbus, and it happened to be, when I listened to this album on Monday, Columbus Day, which is the day when, by presidential decree, we honor America's first illegal immigrant. So, cool stuff, some cool trumpet playing on here. Obviously, this is on the Casablanca label, so obviously this is going to be a bit more on the commercial side than some of Hugh Masekela's more jazzy work, but Colonial Man, and how about that costume? Definitely does strike a chord in a number of ways.
Vasco da Gama left Portugal to go to India, searching for curry and pepper and lots of precious stones. From the Cape of Good Hope by mistake, the ship ran out of water.
Isa also sent this great compilation on the Shanahi label, World Beat Explosion. And the title says it all. It's world beat stuff from a lot of different cultures, starting off with Ofra Haza, Israeli Yemenite, and including Indian-influenced music, sitar music by Ashwan Batish. There's calypso, soca type music on here. There's African reggae from Alpha Blondie. We've got some Western artists who do kind of world music influenced stuff, Dissidenten from Germany, and the very wacky Three Mustafas 3. But my favorite track on here, I think, was the one by Najma, a British performer of Indian Pakistani descent, which is really wonderful use of the traditional scales of music from her homeland. Asa also sent some non-vinyl goodies, a CD of the music of Czech composer Antonín Dvořák, the Slavonic Dances. Slavonic dances were inspired by Johannes Brahms' Hungarian dances. Dvořák decided to do a sort of equivalent to his own culture. So he did 2 sets of Slavonic dances, and this is the second one. Each set consisted of 8 dances, alternating between slow and quick movements. And this is the Opus 72 Slavonic dances. And then there's also the Serenade for String Orchestra. And he sent this book, The Winged Seed, by Lee Young Lee. I don't know a lot about this book. I see that it's a memoir of his family and their history from China to the United States. So I will look forward to investigating that. And this little sort of magazine literary journal, mostly about books that I don't know anything about, but there's an article about R. Crumb in here, which is at least something I can relate to. Thanks very much, Isa. It was so kind of you to send all these goodies, and I definitely enjoyed receiving them. Thank you. I picked up a couple of albums on my last visit to Vinyl Solution, including this 1974 album from Man, Rhinos, Winos, and Lunatics. And Man is a band from Wales who really wanted to be a band from California. And you can see, besides some Welsh symbolism in the background, in this band photo, you see some Fillmore posters and Quicksilver Messenger Service album covers. So they've definitely got that jam band feel to them, and in the future they would even collaborate with John Cipollina from Quicksilver. But that's not on this album. On this album, there was a real personnel shift where some members of the previous Man lineup teamed up with members of the band Help Yourself. So this is a bit of a fusion between these two kind of definitely both American-influenced British acts. This is jammy rock and roll with some prog influence, particularly a little bit of synthesizer work on the track Kerosene that sounds progressive, but generally more of a just sort of, I don't know quite how to describe it, rock and roll band. That's what I'll say. They're a rock and roll band. As if anything else needed to be said. The other album I picked up at Vinyl Solution was this 1973 release from Bob Dylan, the soundtrack album for Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, the Sam Peckinpah film. The very dramatic still from the film on the back. It's an original with the embossed lettering on the front. This is Dylan's last album for Columbia before he briefly jumped ship and started recording for Asylum. I think he only did the one studio album for Asylum, which was Planet Waves, and then there was the great live album Before the Flood, and then he scurried back to Columbia, where he's been ever since, the Columbia-Sony empire. Well, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, is this really a Bob Dylan album? That's the question. Because it's a Bob Dylan album with only two real songs with lyrics on it, one of which appears here in multiple forms. It's the main theme, Billy. You've got main title theme, Billy, and then you've got Billy 1, Billy 4, and Billy 7. And then most of the rest of the album is instrumental. So it seems really kind of throwaway for a Bob Dylan album, except that the other song with lyrics is one of the most iconic songs of Dylan's career, Knockin' on Heaven's Door. So that inclusion really has to legitimize this as a proper Bob Dylan album, but it's never really felt like that to me. And no needle drop because Sony. Next, a couple of records that I picked up at Hercules Records in Berkeley, starting with this Various Artists compilation from 1969 on the Island label, Nice Enough to Eat. And of course it's got that classic pink Island label, always very groovy to see. This features a lot of the big names from Island Records, Fairport Convention, Jethro Tull, Nick Drake, Blodwyn Pig, King Crimson, Spooky Tooth, Mott the Hoople, a couple of lesser-known acts, Quintessence and Dr. Strangely Strange. Also Free is on here, but of particular note, a band that you won't see pretty much anywhere else is the band trading under the name Heavy Jelly. And I say trading under the name Heavy Jelly because there's a funny history behind that name, and there have been a number of bands who used the name over the years. And if you Google Heavy Jelly right now, you'll see that it's quite recently been used as an album title by a current band, Soft Play, so that kind of skews the results. But Heavy Jelly was originally the name of a band in a spoof record review from the British magazine Time Out. It's analogous to the Masked Marauders thing from Rolling Stone, where there was a joke review of a non-existent record, and then somebody made an actual record to fit the review. Well, Heavy Jelly actually, in this case, was the band Skip Bifferty, who made a single, I Keep Singing That Same Old Song, under the name Heavy Jelly. They couldn't continue with that, though, because there was another band that had already made a recording of under the name Heavy Jelly, and I believe that band included the one person in the photo that had accompanied the original review who actually was a musician. Later, there would be another Heavy Jelly with Jackie Lomax, the Beatles protege, fronting. But this one is Skip Bifferty, and there's a great review, a great description of the track by Julian Cope on his Head Heritage site, where he describes the track as an awesomely heavy, powerful song with a gargantuan emotive chorus and the greatest ever guitar lick repeated 1,000 times while all hell breaks loose around it. Everybody involved just rips out their heart and soul for their art here. If you've never heard this track before, stop at nothing until you've put that right. It's rock and roll at its spine-tingling, therapeutic best, leaving you emotionally and physically drained. Simply perfect. Nah, it's better than that. It's 25 karat hyper-prog gold. along with the Nice Enough to Eat set, I picked up this live album by the band Necropolis, featuring the late Peter Fromader, who is noted for his electronic music compositions that are just amazing and powerful and scary as all hell. On here, he pretty much sticks to playing bass. He's credited with E-bass, stick, and tapes. The rest of the band is a drummer, a guitarist who also plays shinai, the Eastern double reed instrument, and post horn, and Jürgen Jung, who does speech. So there is a bit of spoken word stuff here. It's in German, so that's something that goes a bit over my head, although it's not too hard to understand the track Tekeli Li, which is from H.P. Lovecraft. It's a German translation of an extract from At the Mountains of Madness, and that Tekeli Li is a very recognizable part of the Lovecraft mythos. There's another spoken word piece on here, though, that I have no idea what it's about. This is recorded in 1983. It's very loud, very brutal. A bit like Magma, but definitely not the colorful electronic music stuff that I like best from Peter Fromader. And for some more noisy live recorded music, this album is The Stone by Purple Trap. Purple Trap is a noise rock jazz supergroup of Keiji Haino on vocals and guitar, Bill Laswell on bass, and Rashid Ali on drums. So a lot of talent there and a lot of sonic intensity. This is a live recording from The Stone in New York City, December 15th, 2005. And this was released just quite recently in 2024 and comes with a nice postcard of the album art with the download code on it. And this is definitely some not so easy listening. And finally, yet another live recording of kind of noise music again. This is solo percussion work by the percussionist Valentina Magaletti. This is La Tempesta Colorata, or The Colored Storm. And this was recorded live in 2021 at Cafe Otto in London. This was originally released only as a cassette, and the LP, like the previous one, comes with a postcard showing the artwork, the photograph that was on the original cassette release. So they've got new artwork for the LP release, which came out in 2023. I really like this artwork. Another thing that La Tempesta Colorata has in common with Purple Trap's The Stone is that there are no track titles. The album just is what it is. I connect this with the previous two albums, which are very intense and loud and noisy, and this is not that at all. Even though it's solo percussion work, it's very colorful. There's a lot of delicacy. It's a lot less forbidding than those other albums. A lot of just very cool sounds, and Valentina Magaletti's drums and percussion are accompanied by some electroacoustic sounds that sort of putter and swell along in the background. So this is a really nice addition to the collection, La Tempesta Colorata by Valentina Magaletti. So that's VC Friday for October 17th, 2025. If all goes as planned, I should be back soon with a deep dive sort of a video, and that'll be something you can look forward to or dread as the spirit moves you. Thanks very much for watching. Be well, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye-bye for now.
Hey, fella, knock, knock.